Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and these are the cards that we're going to be making today. Now these were inspired recently, a recent video by Louise with Iced Images, which I'll link below. And she calls it her 5x7 collapsible column card, and I just think it's adorable. Now she shows you how to make hers with a traditional side fold. If you want to get a little creative, you could make it as a top fold. You'd have to cut two pieces and then leave a little extra room with a score to fold it over and glue them together. I've seen Jennifer McGuire do that a lot. But if you're going to do the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, you could do that easily on your 8 1/2 by 11 paper. Now, I've designed this with both sizes, 5x7 and 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I've also designed it with the side fold if you want, as well as just what I'm calling the postcard fold, or the postcard style. There is no fold. It just stands up on its own because of this pillar here in front. So you can see the design really nicely, and there's a lot of room on the back to write your message. So I think this is really cute. I hope you like it. It's pretty easy to make as long as you remember to do a couple of things in the right order. I will say that with this one, because the background is so open, I had to offset my pop-up pieces and cut them a little narrower so that you wouldn't be visible from the front. It wasn't that hard to do. I do show you how I do that in the video if you stay tuned. But otherwise, guys, I think they turned out really good, and I love the way they look. I've also got some information on how I was able to match the color to the background paper, which is pretty cool. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. Maybe somebody else has. Probably, I'm sure somebody else has. But I've never seen anybody point it out, and I thought it was a really cool idea. So stay tuned, and let's get into it. So we have our pieces cut, and I've gone ahead and laid them out because the page, I do want the pattern to flow across it. So I'm going to separate these now, and what we're going to do is we're going to score the inside. Now, you can do this before you glue your pieces down, or you can do it after. I don't know if you can see the score lines on there. Not really, but they're there. And again, this was cut with my Cricut. So the last time I did this, I glued them after the fact, but I think this time maybe I will glue them before. Let me see. Yeah, maybe I'll still do it after. It's just a little bit easier to see. So we're going to fold our score lines. And everything is a mountain fold except for the two on the edge. Those are going to be valley folds. Let's see. So this paper I'm using, my paper's from a couple of different sources today. This here is, and the purple that I'm using for the matting layers is from Stampin' Up. And I need to thank my friend Bonnie for that. She gifted me that. I think it's been close to a couple of years, or at least a year and a half. It's been a while. I think it's been a couple of years. So they probably don't have these exact colors in stock anymore because they do like to rotate their colors. It keeps people purchasing, so they do that every so often. So they probably don't have either one of these. I couldn't even tell you the name of them, but you may have them in your stock if you buy Stampin' Up! Products. They do make good products, I will say that. I do love their paper. It's a nice, according to the internet, it's an 80-pound paper, but it feels a lot sturdier than some of my other 80-pound papers. So it could just be the way it's manufactured, but it's a nice quality, thick, sturdy paper, or cardstock. So I had to change my background mat. You may remember the other one I was using. Well, it's actually almost the same color, so I realized you weren't going to be able to see what I was doing. Alright, so then you will eventually glue this down like this to your card front. So right now I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces on, and I will just fast forward through those. It's like a 1/16 of a border, so there's not much, and you could always change that if you want more of a border, but these are so narrow that if you're using a matting layer, it doesn't give you much of a piece down the middle. And maybe depending on your designer series or your top layer, you don't care about that. You could also extend these columns here and make them wider if you choose. I set the file up the same way that Louise from My Images designed hers, so that's how the file's set up. But you can definitely make adjustments if you need to. I will link her video below if I haven't already said that. She makes a lot of amazing cards, and I believe she referenced somebody else as the inspiration for this card, if I'm not mistaken. But she's the one who inspired me, as she has done so many times before, just because she just makes amazing stuff. Alright, so I'm going to glue this one down. And then I'll get out my stamping platform and my matting layer, precision placement tools, whatever you want to call them. I just did a video on those, and I think they're pretty cool. Alright, so those two are ready to go. So now we need to do these two. It's on top of my trash can. trying to make it easier for myself to see, and then I didn't see it. Alright, so let's put this up here. I might need to zoom out a little. There we go. Alright, so I just kind of tuck mine into the corner. Here's what I decided works best for me. That way I know where they're at. The magnet kind of helps slide everything together so they don't fall out. I am going to need this. I believe it's the 1/8" one here. Get rid of a couple magnets just to make sure. Oh, they snap together. Okay, so I'll slide this into the corner, and then I'll slide this in. And that actually does look right to me. Okay, so I'm going to slide this back in over here. I'm going to pull these apart. That's what the washi tape is for. It just makes that so much easier when they get stuck together. Slide that back over there, make sure it's all butted up in the corner. Put my handy dandy little DIY tool there. And I'm going to use glue if I can get my glue to work. I'm still working on this wonky bottle that clogs up a lot because this glue is really old now. But I do have another batch of it, or another bottle of it, in my cart ready to purchase. Alright, so now I want to just make sure I'm carefully place this into the corner. There we go. And then I can slide that magnet down or out of the way. And somewhere I've got my scoring burnishing tool here just to kind of spread that glue out. Well, looky there. I've got it nicely centered on my cardstock. So we'll do this last one. And I did share my file for this if you want to make some for yourself. It is on one of my last videos, and you can access that file for free in design, that free design space file I should say, from the Facebook page. Alright, let's get this lined up into the corner. Slide that out of the way. And give everything a nice burnish. Alright, so to put these away, they don't have to be in any particular order. I just kind of slide them in there. And that's the small magnet. I want the bigger one. And it just kind of butts right up next to that. Kind of holds enough pressure to hold it in place. Okay. So this is our card base. Now, I have included in the file 2 different ways to make this. I'm just making mine as a postcard, but you can make it as a regular, you know, bifold card or whatever that's called, a standard card, one that we're all used to. But it stands up on its own, and this paper cardstock is heavy enough that I don't feel like I need anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and glue before I do anything else. I'm going to glue these 2 pieces down. Just going to kind of flatten that out a little bit. Make sure I've got them lined up the way they go. Let me zoom back in so you can see it's definitely directional, so I wanted to keep track of that. So you will have to reposition your pieces when you go to cut it out, just to make sure that they're in the correct order if it's going to be a print or pattern that's easily discernible. You don't want it to look like you didn't know what you were doing and put it together wrong. And I say that tongue-in-cheek because I already made one and I did it backwards. A couple of different ways I did it backwards, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Slide that down a little bit more. Now this is like a 1/16 of a margin, so I'm not able to use my tool because I just can't cut any kind of cardstock or chipboard that thin and fine and hope to have it maintain its shape after a while. Alright, so we'll put this on. Trying to align it at the bottom and center it between those score marks as good as I can. Could probably slide it over a little bit. Okay. So there's your center. Now, I'm going to show you what I did on the other one so I can tell you what I did wrong. First, a couple of things. This is the other one that I made. I got my colors backwards. I wanted my background to be this green color here, blue-green, and the matting layer to be this purple. I did that wrong. So I had enough paper, I just cut out another one. But that's not the only thing I did wrong. When I started gluing these two pieces here down, I glued them here and here for some reason, so you weren't going to be able to see them. But I needed those. I didn't want to recut them out because it's just how the design kind of flows. So I just found a matching coordinating piece of purple lightweight cardstock, and I embossed it with something similar to give it that kind of matching look and glued it down. And the reason I did that was because I had already glued these and I had to peel them off and it tore that paper. But it's the good enough quality cardstock from Stampin' Up! That I was able to mend the little bitty tears, which were ended up being covered up anyway by this piece that I added. So the file doesn't have a separate piece for this, but you could always make one if you wanted to. It's pretty easy. So that's how I messed this one up. I haven't finished it yet. I will finish it because it's okay. It's just not exactly what I envisioned. So now you're going to want to put this piece down, and the file, which again you're not going to be able to see them, but I've included these little score marks right here in the middle, and that's just so you know where the center is. Now you could draw those if you'd prefer, or the thing that I noticed Louise did was she marked the edges here because you can see those will be covered up, and that's actually what I should do, is mark those edges because I can't really see this score mark, and part of that's I had to adjust my lighting so that it showed up better on camera. Just going to put that pencil mark in there. So I think I mentioned this, but in the file I've included both the traditional open fold bifold card and I've included the postcard. I want to save supplies whenever I can. We've become a very wasteful people, and I do want to preserve the planet, and I don't mean to lecture anybody, I'm just explaining myself. That's why I do what I do. I think this is going to be sturdy enough. It's going to stand up on its own anyway. As you can see from this one, it does stand up. So if you can save supplies, make your supplies go further, save a little money, you know, save the planet while you're doing it, why not, guys? Why not? All right, I'm going to make this come down just a little bit more, and I'm going to try. Ooh, that was bold. Okay. I'm going to try to keep this centered here. So one thing I want to do is I want to get my ruler out. And of course I've covered it up with my metal ruler and my TV remote so that I make sure that this matches up at the bottom. Okay, so here you can do glue or tape. If I were smart, I'd probably do tape, but I got the glue right here, so that's what I'm going to do. It does allow me to slide it into place in case I'm not accurate the first time. So, and you know, people say tape is faster when they're doing videos. I'm not sure that it is, and the reason I feel that way is because You have to be so precise with it. You know, you lay it down, you measure it. Get out of the way. Gotta make sure I got that straight, and I definitely do not. Okay. Sorry about my head. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Let's just give this all a nice burnish and get that glue hopefully stuck really well. Okay, so there you go. So you see, you cannot really see these back here. I'm just getting that glue worked down a little bit better. You cannot really see these back here. Somebody would literally have to push that open to see that. So you don't really need to cover those. Now we're going to add our other panels, which, making sure I'm getting them on the right side. So these will now cover up this seam that you've got here. And if they're too big, that was another mistake I made on this one. I ended up not getting this centered quite right, and so my panel, my left panel, was too big. So I ended up having to trim it down. See that? Just to get it to fit in there. But again, you can't really see it. Now, much like quilters or, you know, artists, people who perfect their craft, they might, a card maker might look at that and go, but nobody else is going to. They're just going to think it's pretty. All right, so we're going to do these one at a time. I just want to make sure I've got the right one in the right spot, and I do. All right, so I'm going to add some glue. So the paper, the designer paper that's on top, is from one of those paper pads that I've had for years. I've been trying to use them up. I'll grab it in a minute and tell you which one it is if you're curious. So let's see here. Gotta center that. And that's why I like the glue. It lets me do that. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Pretty close. So that paper pad is called Violet Leaf Stack, and it is from DC BWV, and it is from many years ago, 2012. But who knows? You might have it in your stack or your stash. If not, you can definitely use whatever you have. And if you don't have anything you like, there are plenty of places where you can buy digital images and print them if you have a color printer. I like Creative Fabrica for my digital images. They won't come out with, you know, the gold foil on them or embossed and stuff like that, but they'll still be pretty. And the paper you use will make a big difference. So I have a lot of photo paper that I've been using up. I also bought some matte photo paper because most of mine's glossy, and the matte photo paper is thicker, so it works really well on my color printer. Oh, looky there. There we go. Now, can you see the difference? I'm going to turn this light back off. Maybe. Okay. Whew. See what I did there? Oh, I just realized something I forgot to do, though. I wanted, on this one, because I did my base and my middle layer backwards, I did ink around the edges of this cardstock a little bit, and I used Altenew Crisp Dye Ink Lagoon. Let me see if you can see that. There you go. Well, it showed up just for a second. That's what I used. I meant to do it on this one too. Not that I needed to. I just thought it'd look nice. And then I got busy and forgot. So the file also includes, I've gotten them all tossed around. I've lost half of my stuff. There's some. So it also includes these little squares that are 1 inch by 1 inch that are scored down the middle. And those are so you can attach your sentiment, greeting, more artwork, ephemera, whatever you want to call it, here on the front. You could do this in a couple of different ones if you wanted to, and it'll make it, once you've got those glued down, it'll stand up on top. I will link her file below so you can see her cards as well, because she's using some really pretty paper in hers. I'm going to put my pen there back in my glue. I've lost one of these. I got to find it. For the back of these, I did a couple different things. This was a design. It's hard to see. I did foil it in gold. I printed it on off-white, and then I foiled it. And it's just a cheap cardstock, so it didn't foil really well, but it's good enough, I think. And I like the design. It's kind of whimsical, like the paper design. And there's plenty of room to write your message. Okay. The other one that I did is, I forgot to change it to black. The actual image was golden, kind of a glittery gold leaf border. I meant to change it to black and it would have printed better, and then I could have foiled that in gold, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is, and I'll attach it to one of these probably. And again, it leaves you plenty of room to write your message. And I think I'll probably put this one on here, and I might even do something different with the other one. So once you get that centered roughly, then you can see how that'll look. Alright, so that'll be the back of it. Plenty of room to write your message. I even thought about using the photo corners that I've had since my scrapbooking days to adhere this to the back. That way you can take it out, write on it, and be a little bit easier to write on it, because this isn't perfectly flat with that extra bit there, but I think it's flat enough to write on. But then you could also just take it out and put another piece in there and reuse it if you wanted to. So I'm going to figure out what I want to put on the top or on the front, and then we'll be back. Okay, so now we're going to put this one together, and the reason I saved it is because it's a little different in the sense that this sentiment here doesn't have as much solid area in the background to place your little tabs, which we've cut out at 1 inch by 1 inch. That's not a problem though, we're going to fix that. But before I do that, we're going to put the back on. Now this back this is just inexpensive 65-pound cardstock from Michael's. If I'd used a better quality, I would have got a better foiling on it. You can see some areas where it skipped, but I just wanted to make the back of it look nice for, if you want to write a message. Maybe have the grandkids sign it, whatever, whoever, the office, whatever, because this is the Get Well card. And then I did ink around the edges of that. Got a little bit of ink splatter. And again, I used the same ink. It's the Altenew Crisp Dye Lagoon ink. Just use one that kind of matches. I could have even used purple. I could have even used gold foil on the outside edges. I've showed before where you just take a glue stick or your zig marker, kind of randomly tap the edges, and then put your foil over it, press it down, and peel it off, and you get this very randomized foil look. But for right now, we're going to put this back on, and I just want to see roughly where I'm going to need to glue it. So I should have, if I had planned ahead better, I would have put this on before I finished the front of the card, but I didn't. So here we are. It's not going to fit in let me use my little tools with it, because this pop-up's not going to hold it down. I don't know that the magnets are strong enough. So it's just it's a really thin border on top and bottom, and a little bit wider on the side. So we're going to add this to the back, and then we'll finish decorating the front. I'm going to use the same embellishments that I showed you in the fast forward. I feel like I need more glue here. Okay. I'm just going to This is a little unwieldy. Sorry about that, I just banged the mic. It needs to come over a little bit more. And it's not even kind of centered here. Trying to spin it a little bit. Okay, well, it's not centered, but you know, it looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to give that another little poop to pop it back up. So as I was saying, first I want to kind of get an idea about where I want this. Now, to decorate, okay, I did something yesterday that I'd never thought of before, and actually I feel like it's kind of genius. So I am going to do it in another video. I probably should have cut out 2 of this shape to stiffen it up a little bit, since it's not as solid as the other one was. This is on 110-pound cardstock though. But I've got too many irons in the fire here. So I used this metallic Master's Touch metallic acrylic marker to go around and color in the edges so that you wouldn't see the white as well. And then I decided, oh, I'll just put some little dots on there. Well, the problem with this pen, which I didn't realize, is that this will just peel off when it's dry, these little dots. I had that happen on the other one. So I don't recommend it for that. It's probably okay to put on the edges, but I wouldn't put your dots on here. If it's something that's going to get handled, they will pop off. So the idea that I feel like was kind of genius, not to give myself a lot of credit, and maybe somebody's already thought of this, I've just never seen it anywhere. You know what? Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about it. So I told you I was using this violet leaf pad from DCWV, Design Cuts with a View, and it's from 2012, right? So I wanted to match the colors because it does have a few sentiments in here somewhere. Where are they? Of course, now I won't be able to find them. But they weren't what I wanted. And yeah, I don't know where they went. Oh, there they are. Okay. Anyway, I like the fact that they match, but they just weren't exactly what I was looking for. So I thought, well, how am I going to get my print and cut to match my background paper? So I went out and I did a search for that particular paper pad, and I was able to find a smaller version of it. It's not the 12 by 12 version, it's a smaller version. I believe it was on Amazon. And I just searched for DCWV and then Violet Leaf. And so then I took a copy or a print screen of that page, pulled it into my video or my digital image software, and used my color picker tool, which is a little eyedropper in mine, probably in most of them, and picked out the colors. And then I went into Design Space, where I put in that hexadecimal code and managed to get my colors to match. So I had several to choose from. I think I managed to pick out like 10 different colors, and ended up getting what I feel like is a pretty good match. Now I had different purples I could choose from, but I ended up liking this one. So I'm going to put this on here, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. For one thing, I know. Okay, so I didn't really tell that story very well, but what I'm going to do is I will do a video on that. Oh boy, this is a mess. I should write down an outline before I get started, right? I'm so sorry. Anyway, if you're still with me, I will do a small video, hopefully it'll be a short video, who knows with me, and show you how to match your colors to your paper pad. Your software will probably work differently, but hopefully you're familiar enough with it that it'll give you an idea on how it works. So I will do a separate video coming up on that, but for right now what we're going to do is we're going to put this down. So this was cut with our Cricut, and we're going to take and we're going to trim that into a smaller piece. Well, I'm going to start by cutting it in half, and if it's wrong, I've got extras here. So I want to see if these will fit behind where they fit. They will fit, it's just where. So that one would kind of fit. I'd have to trim a little bit more off, but it would fit under the get. Or I could even just do it under the well. I don't think I can get both of them under there. Let's see if we do it like this. Is this the other piece? Yeah, and then what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to offset them because of the way, and I'm going to have to trim some more off of that. So I'm going to kind of figure out where the center of this is. I should have already done that. That is about 4 inches wide, so 2 inches in will be the center. So it's going to be right through this area here. So I can probably do one here and one here, but I need for them to be on the top and bottom directly of each other. So I think what I'll do is I'll glue one down, and then I will figure out how to make the other one work. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to flip that over because that's the smaller side. I didn't get it centered, or when I folded it, I didn't get it quite centered. Alright, so this is straight up and down, so I'm going to put this like here. Oops, I want to make sure it stays on the solid surface. I don't want it hanging out past my edges anywhere. And then I'll take this one and glue it here. I'm going to separate it just a little bit. Yes, that will work. Okay, I'm going to do this narrower, slightly smaller side. Okay, I want to keep it straight up and down, which I keep twisting it just a little. Okay, so now, see, that kind of fits right there like that. So where do I want to put that? Let's see here. I apparently bit my cardstock. I'm going to try to roughly center it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on here. And then I'm going to kind of nestle it right on top of that. Does that look? Oh, that looks perfect. So I'm just going to press that down for a minute, kind of rub it a little. Burnish, I should say. There we go. Give that a little pinch. Open it back up. Now it's not very centered from the front, but that's okay. I will just add more decoration over here. In fact, it even looks a little crooked, but there we go. Well, I don't know. So, I might get out my gold foil and add some gold die cut butterflies over here. But I've also got these that I used on the other one. Let's see. Hold on just a moment. Alright, so I went to my dies. I could have used my Cricut, but I thought the dies would be quicker because I wouldn't have to choose which butterfly shapes to use in Design Space, and I can only use the dies that I have. Plus, it made sizing easier for me to figure out. So I just took a little strip out of my stash and cut some butterflies out of it. So we're going to come back to this. Now this one is a layering butterfly. Oh, if I can pick it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it down the center, and then I will prop these wings up once it's glued down, just to kind of give them a little bit of extra dimension. So just to kind of dry place everything, this will go down here is what I'm thinking. And then I'll work my way up on this side, and then maybe put this one over here. I don't know. What do you think? There's a lot of trying to get the light off of that. There we go. I don't know. I probably have a smaller butterfly die somewhere, but I just got tired of looking. In fact, I know I do. I've got some that are like literally less than 1/4 of an inch. But I think this is okay. So those are just kind of trailing up the side. I could even bring them down closer. Like that. Oh, I like that. I actually like that better. Okay. So let's glue this stuff down. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put a bit of glue down the center. Oh, I hope my glue didn't dry up on me. Just put a little bit down the center of his body. That's probably way more than I needed. And then I'm just going to line these up. I don't want to move them around too much because I don't want that glue. Yeah, so much for that. So I'm just going to hold that for a second. Yeah, you can see a little bit of glue splooged out right there. There we go. Yeah, it did move a little bit. Alright, I'm going to set that down, set that on top of it, and I'm going to glue these other ones down. Where are my tweezers? I know, there they are. It's not the ones I wanted, but they'll work. So, I'm going to put this over here. Actually, those are really tight. I never use them because they're so tight. I thought I got my other pair out somewhere. Oh, there they are. Right where they're supposed to be. Okay, so put a little bit of glue on the back of this guy. And I could have cut 2 of these out and layered them the same way. I just didn't. Okay, well, put those tweezers in the wrong place. Okay. Even going to bother with them this time since I don't usually work on my left apparently, or at least I don't usually have an obstacle like this in front of me. Come on, here we go. So those are down. Let's see here. Oh, we can put this guy down too. So I've been working on this off and on for days, getting the design for the card right, which is in Design Space, and it's a free file for you. I've done it in, this is a 5x7. I've also done it in a 4 1/4 by 5.5 if you prefer. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of hold it in the center and then lift that wing up, and then do the same thing on the other side. I just kind of want to shape those wings a little bit so that they've got a little bit of life in them. There we go. So that when I put this one down, look at that, it stands up just a little bit. It's going to, of course, move as I hold it up, but I think you get the idea. And you could put some little, I might even put some little gems down the center. Okay. Working, brain's working. Alright, so we're going to put some glue on the back of this guy. And I'm going to put him down right in there. Now, I don't have metallic purple paper, but if you have some, that would also make some beautiful butterflies. Come on, lift up. Why are you not lifting up for me? There we go. There we go. Just gives it a little bit of extra dimension. And if this were a bigger butterfly, I could put a little bit of a pop up back behind there to just kind of make sure that stays up, but it's so small I don't think I have the patience to get in there and wrangle that. So this is what we're working with. I like it. So I can use a few gems up here and maybe a couple down here. So let's see, I like, are these little gold ones too big to put inside? I don't think they are, but do you know what, I think I have black. Oh, I do, I have a few little bitty black ones left. Just smacked my hand on my shelving unit. That smarts a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to put, I've got 3. I wonder if I can get, I think I can get all 3 of them right in there. So this is that same sheet I've been working off for years. I purchased it at Joann's eons ago, back when I was still scrapbooking. Okay, I want to get that a little centered before I push it down. There we go. I think that's pretty centered. And I'm still slowly but surely using them up. So I'm going to move this one down closer to the tail. If I can get it off of my finger. Okay, keep it kind of centered. Push it up a little. There we go. And I'll try that last one right in the middle. Now I did have purple, but I don't think it was a dark enough purple. I could have used the teal or aquamarine color that I have, but I think the black will look nice. And I'm only going to put it on this one. Oh, but I got them too close together. Okay, push. Alright, so lift that back up. Must be some glue underneath there catching. Okay. So, this is where we're at with that guy. It's not straight, but it'll work. It's going to bug me though. I don't know if I can fix it because once those get stuck down, you can move them, but then they slide right back. That might be a little better. Who knows? We'll see. Alright, so we're going to put a few down here and a few up here. So I think I'll put these lighter kind of turquoisey ones up in the top. I used the dark and the light on the other one, so I think I'll use the medium ones on this one. And one thing I found out, if you've watched me for a while, you've probably seen me send these little gems all over the place when I try to pull them off with tweezers or even the take your pick tool. It doesn't really work for me. But I found if I just peel the acetate back a little bit and then grab my pokey tool, yes, that's an official term, pokey tool. I use it in all of my craft endeavors. Then I'm just trying to figure out where to put it. Then I generally don't send them flying across the room. Generally. Not always, but that one's loose. It's just not sticking to my tool. There we go. And these almost, I mean, they really pick up because they're very clear. Translucent, that's the word I want. They tend to pick up the color that's on the back, the paper background. So this little guy, just going to slip him there. And then I'll put some down here. And this time I'll go back to the purple. I'll use the lighter purple this time. These are from Hero Arts. I recently purchased these. They were having a sale. And I got a good deal on them, I thought. Okay, I'll put the bigger one down here. Oops. And one more. Okay, so I think we're done. What do you guys think? Please don't focus on my crooked butterfly body. He's just, you know, he's just neurodivergent or something. Okay. He's just a little different. Okay. So I've got my wings tilted up. I got my colorful match. Look how well those match. My goodness. Got my 3 butterflies here, my 1 gold one here. I got my 3 little jewels, aquamarine jewels up here that match really well. And I think we're good. I do still have the brass butterflies laying here. If I want to do like a little overkill, I could do 2 down here and 1 smaller one up there. Why not? I've had these for a while. I might as well use them up. I love them. I've also got dragonflies somewhere, but we're going to stick with the butterfly theme. Okay, so I'm going to put this one like right here. It's a little higher. There we go. Right there. I'll get another big one. And we're going to put him over here somewhere. And then we'll do 1 small one. Oh, that one's trying to get away, so we might as well use him. He's like, put me in, coach. Put me in. Okay, where do we want him? We want him at the very top? Do we want him lower down? Let's see. I like that. But I really kind of like it. I don't know. You know what? I think we're going to put him right here. Okay. So, let me zoom out a little bit if I can get my fingers in the right place. Looky there. What do you think? I feel like I could do something else up here. Maybe, where'd that sheet go? I could just put a strip down the middle of that one. I've got those dark orange ones. That might look nice. Or I could use the bigger black ones because I'm out of the small ones, but I still have this medium size here. So let's do that. It kind of ties those 2 butterflies together. Now, try to get that centered. Put that up there where his head goes. Is that about right? Come over a little bit. I'm sorry if my head gets in the way. Okay, there's 1. Now this time I'm just going to go in order since I got them so crooked on the bottom one. Come on. Let go. Alright, slide him over. He's not stuck yet, so that's good. Now he is. And 1 more. Keep finding my hairs and stuff. And it's still stuck on there. There, I can see it. There we go. Come on. You are way off the mark. Maybe it needs to go up just a little. What do we think? Is that pretty straight? Ooh, it was. But then I had to mess with it. Come on, George. Get it in there. Alright, I'm going to turn it so it's a little closer to me and maybe that'll help. Except I've definitely got the middle one moved a little bit, so I'm just going to do that. Hope for the best. Oh, I think that helped. Yeah. So pretty. We've got our nice area in the back to write on, and you'll see it will go flat, so you can write your message on it. You'll have to hold it down, but it will work. And then just give it a little pinch. It stands up. It is a little crooked, but overall I think it works pretty well. So there you go. So I have forgotten what this is called because I've been working with it for days now. But it was from Iced Images, I know that. And I believe she calls it the pop-up pillar card. Now, we should go and we should look at the Design Space file so that you can see. There are a couple ways to do this, and I did talk about this previously. You could make this a regular either top fold card, which then it's going to kind of tip out like that, which is okay. Or you can make it a regular side fold card. Because of the thickness of the paper and the size of it, I just felt like, and the fact that it stands up on its own, I felt like that was enough. So I just went with the standard, almost like postcard style, with a pop-up on the front. So let's go to Design Space. Alright, so this is the print and cut that I did in Design Space. Now I had done one on a smaller piece of paper and it ended up being too small, so I decided to reprint it and get something bigger. The one I previously did though will work for a smaller card, A2. So this is where I was talking about this purple background. This is where I pulled the color from my digital editing software with my color picker tool, and then transferred that hexadecimal number over into Design Space. So let me show you. I've got it all. Let me detach. I attached it. I figure I might as well use up the whole page and get as many sentiments in there as I can that I can use later. So I picked a really pretty font, which is called Bridgerton Script. I got it from Creative Fabrica. I'll link it below if you're interested in it. It's a beautiful script. It's very reminiscent of the Samantha font, which I believe they also have at Creative Fabrica, but you do have to go into the special characters map in order to retrieve those, which is easy to do, and maybe I should do a video on that just to show you how to do that. But yeah, it's a beautiful font. They have usually a number of choices for each letter, so depending on the font, but this one in particular has a number of choices for each letter. And even though I have stamps, by the time I look through them and figure, to me it's just easier to have these handy, already printed out. I can just glue one on, and I don't have to finish the card at the time. I can finish it later with this little sentiment. So I like having these. This is a thick 110-pound cardstock. These blank white ones that you see, those are just to put behind one of the other ones in case I need to be a little stiffer. But anyway, the color picker tool, I'm going to keep saying color pickle now that I've said it. So I've unflattened this. So I'm going to show you this here. Well, maybe unflatten. And unflatten one more time. Okay, so you can see this background. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it good. Is purple, and I'm talking about the hexadecimal color. I believe is what it's called. To find that, you're going to go in here. You'll go to Advanced, and it's this number right down here. So if you have that number and you know what it is, you can just put it in here and it'll take you to that color. So for instance, I don't think I have my other one. Oh yeah, I do. Hold on just a moment. So what I'm doing, because you can't see what I'm doing, I'm copying the hex code from my design software, and I'm going to copy it over to this one, and it'll just change the color. So I should have just done it there. Highlight all that, Control V to copy it in there, and look, it changed the color for me. So that's how you can get your color to match your, maybe you've got old paper pads or cardstock pads like I do, and if you want your color to match, it isn't just with old paper pads or cardstock pads. If you have a product from another company, I'm going to use Stampin' Up! Because I've done this before with their products. Usually there's somebody very helpful person out there who's put out or a list or a chart of all the hexadecimal codes for their colors that they're using. If you've got old cardstock, you know what the old cardstock was called, you can probably find the hexadecimal code or hex code, I'm just going to call it a hex code, from somewhere on Google or the internet, and put it in, and you can match your, whether it's your type, like your, where I've got glitter Mother's Day there, gold glitter, you could make that match your cardstock. There's so many different things. So if you guys are interested and you have questions about that, I can certainly show you in more depth how I do that, or how I did it. I don't know why I didn't think of it sooner, honestly. Well, in one respect I kind of did, because I have matched colors before when I was creating digital papers, but I didn't think to use it in this format. So anyway, I love it. I think it's going to be the next best thing, and at least for me. And I just wanted to show you that real quick before I went any further, but that's where I got those. So let me go ahead, and this is the form that I used, or the template that I used to know where I can put my images. And so I just fill that page up. You just have to stay inside the borders. So I'm going to delete that because I don't need it now. I'm going to delete all of this because I no longer need it. And because I want to share this file, I can't leave that in there. And then let's go and just start ungrouping some stuff. I think that's about it. Okay, I can go ahead and hide that again. Those are just the parts I used. So let's see if we can zoom back in a little bit. I'm going to move all this a little bit closer together and slide this over maybe here. And then we can zoom in. So the two files that I created, the one on the left is the 5x7 or the postcard, and I must have hid or deleted the postcard. What's this one? Oh no, I don't need that. Delete. Let's see here. I will find it. It is in here. I don't need all those. What about this? Okay, that's okay. I can hide that again. Although that does tell us. So it is inspired by this file by Louise with iced images. It was her Tuesday, March 17th live stream, and there's the link if you want to copy and paste that into your browser. You can go watch her video, which I highly recommend. But I'm going to go ahead and hide that for now. Is there nothing else hidden? Oh, what's this? Oh no, that was the other one. Okay, so apparently somehow or other I have gotten rid of the 5x7, so we'll just make another copy, although I've saved it, so it should be in my saved file. You know what, I'm just going to make another one just in case. So I'm going to duplicate this one. I'm going to zoom down here, and I'm just going to remove all these score lines. Pull that over, get rid of all those. And we'll pull this back up. So if you decide you want to just make the postcard style like I did, you would use this. If you want to make the folding card, you would use this. If you want a top folding card, you're going to have to make it, or we can do it right now really quick. Let's go ahead and duplicate this twice. And yikes, there's probably a better way to do this, but let's see, 5 by 7. That was this actually, I don't know that you could make a top folding 5 by 7 because you would have to have some really long paper, or you would have to add a little bit of a seam allowance here, so to speak, in sewing terms, fold it over and glue the two together. So you know what, I'm going to take that out of there. But you could definitely do it with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So these are the postcard shapes. I did add these little score lines here to help you find the center. Right here you can see those, top and bottom. Don't have them on this one, but I'll go back and add them. Let's zoom back out again. Oh, my computer is so slow today. So here's your little pillar that goes on the front, the 5 by 7 on the left and the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 on the right. And here's your matting layers. If you want something for the back, I don't include that in the file, but you guys know how to make that, right? You're just going to grab you a square or whatever shape, and you're going to size it to fit inside there. You could even take this one and just do an offset. So we're going to go to edit, maybe edit, offset, and we would go negative because we want it smaller. And I think we can get it a little bit better than that. We'll go with that. We'll say apply, and there you go. So there's your, if you want a piece for your background or the back. If you're using white cardstock base, you really wouldn't need that. But if you're using another color like I did, you might want that. So I'm just going to delete that. Y'all know how to do that. If you don't, I just showed you. Hopefully you can replay it if you need to, if I went too fast. These are the little tabs that go here on the center to pop up whatever design you decide to put on there. You can, like I showed you, if they're too wide, you can cut them down. You can offset them if you need to. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to share the link, the Design Space link for this file on the Facebook page, and you can find the link for the Facebook page below in the comments. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. I might not see them right away, but I will answer them when I see them. And like I said, I think the next video I'll go more in depth about the color picker and how you do that, or how I did it. It will work a little differently for you because most people don't use the same software I use. But if you're familiar enough with your software or you're comfortable Googling, you can always get the answer to your question. All right, guys. Well, until next time, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. I cannot talk anymore. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, guys. So until next time, this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and I hope you have a happy crafty day. I'm going to go finish watching Jennifer McGuire. And until next time, see you later.